Hello folks, and welcome to a Wise Game video, where in today's video we're going to be going over the new exciting news when it comes to the PvP changes for the World of Warcraft expansion called Dragonflight. Content creator Bajheera did an interview with Holinka, who happens to be the head game designer when it comes to the PvP side of the game. This interview is unbelievable, and I recommend everybody to go and see this. So I'm going to have the information in the description panel and also that video attached to the end of today's video. But what I'm going to do is just go over some of the key points that they actually touched on. So with no further ado, let's dive in and give it a look. Okay, I am going to start right off with the most important part that I think everybody's wondering about, and that's the PvP gear when it comes to this game. What's involved, and what do we need to actually get the gear? Now, as we see right here with this image from Shadowlands, you need to have ratings to get most of the PvP gear in the game. So this was something you really had to work hard for, get the perfect comp, and all that good stuff. So we could see that it starts off at unranked at 249, and then the highest is at 2400 rating. You get a 275 set of gear. So off the top of my head, I would say that that's about a 26 item level difference in a PvP situation. However, in Dragonflight, they're going back to the old way that we've seen in MoP and also Warlords of Draenor. All the media is calling it the WoD repeat again when it comes to how it's going to work. And I think this is fantastic because it's going to be much more simplified. We're only going to have two sets. So you're going to have your Honor set and you're going to have your Conquest set. Now what Brian said was compare it like this. What they have planned is that the Honor set is going to be equivalent to that of, say, Heroics. And then the Conquest gear would be more resemblance to the item level that we would see in Mythic gear. And that's basically it. That's all you gotta worry about. Now what's great about a system like this is that PvPers that don't get to do arenas or RBGs for some strange reason, right? At least this way, doing dailies and weeklies, that's also going to give you some Conquest points. I'm guessing that that's the way it's going to be. Is that there's still a way of you actually getting the highest gear in the game, which is the Conquest gear. So there's not going to be 5, 6, 10 different levels of PvP gear anymore. And then if we look at the expansion Legions I did not like, PvP-wise, because there was no incentive to want to do PvP. And what I mean by this is that they had no PvP gear, everything got normalized in like a battleground situation. There wasn't really a need to go out and actually get PvP gear because it did not exist. At least now in this game, we still have incentive to want to do PvP to get the gear because it's going to work just like it did for many years. So it's still going to matter. You know, somebody that's got all Conquest gear compared to somebody who's got green gear and Honor gear is of course going to be stronger in a PvP situation. So now let me tie this all together so it makes a lot more sense. As we see right here in this little snippet. So outside of PvP, the gear will have a similar system to Shadowlands, starting with a base item level, upgradable with Honor, and unlocked with ratings. But now something that they're doing this time that we've never seen in any past expansions, to my knowledge, is that these upgrades will have no effect at all when it comes to PvP. So basically it comes down to one thing. If you have PvP ratings, it does not matter when it comes to the gear, just like we've seen in Warlords of Draenor. However, what it's going to do, which is a very unique twist, is that it will affect the items during PvE. So if you're somebody who's into playing both sides of the game, and you do get ratings in the game, you're going to be able to go up in item level, which is going to make your gear that much stronger in a PvE type raid event. I really have to tip my hat off. That's a really cool idea. which also makes it now too where you don't really need 2 sets of gear anymore to play both sides of the game. Now, if you're wondering about things like set bonuses and how this is all going to tie together as far as that goes, I recommend, again, watching Bajheera's video on this because they go into deep detail about that. And with the information that I just shared, again, I am talking strictly about PvP gear and how that works. So again, it's going to depend on what you're doing in the game, either PvP-wise or PvE-wise, of how that gear is going to scale. Next up, we're going to talk a bit about cross-faction and PvP. So actually what this is going to be is that it's only going to be an actual rated PvP. So yes, if you have an arena team, if you have a RBG, a rated battleground team, you can get a player from the opposite faction to join that team. However, it's still going to stay to the original way it was, separating both factions in non-rated battlegrounds and also world PvP, which is now what we call war mode. Next up is a topic that I know a lot of players have been curious about, and that's solo queues for PvP. So they are going to have solo queue for arenas. Now, don't get this confused with 1 versus 1. This is basically where you're going to queue up, and then it's going to give you another player, and then you'll be able to face off against your opponents. And they are even considering doing this for random battlegrounds, which I think would be awesome. And if they end up doing that, they're also talking about having smaller scaled RBGs. But that is in the works right now, and they are planning on possibly doing that. But there is no definite answer at this time. Now, just a few things I'm going to go over, and then we're going to wrap up today's video. I do advise again, I know I've said it many a times, to go watch the actual video from Bajheera and Brian. Now, Brian did say that they are planning on somehow giving incentives to doing war mode. Now, we're not sure really what he means by this yet, because it's still something he's tossing around that he hasn't totally ironed out yet. But, like, in Battle for Azeroth, we had quite a bit of incentive to do on a weekly base with weeklies to actually do war mode, and it gave you some points. And it also gave you a box, so on and so forth. So yeah, so that's something that we could think about too, and maybe something will come back where making war mode again will be more incentivized. And that's basically it, folks. I am so excited about this. I mean, the forums are blowing up with all positive remarks. Every video I've watched, from big streamers to content creators, all the above, they're all really excited about this PvP and the changes. I really think with this going forward, World of Warcraft and this new expansion Dragonflight is really going to take off. My opinion, I wish it was coming out next week. So I thank you guys so much for watching Wise Gamer. I hope that this information helped. Feel free to sub up and ring that bell notification down below for more awesome news coming your way. And you guys have yourself a great day. Get out there and kick some ass. See you later.